Right, so another quick job here on the gearbox. We're going to strip a gearbox shaft down to third gear, and we're going to do an inspection of it. The tools we're going to need, amongst others, are our safety glasses, the pulling kit, 13 spanner, and a flat screwdriver. So first we're going to remove this circlip here that holds on the bearing. And then we're going to use our pullers to pull off the bearing there above fourth gear. And that tool there is just to stop the pullers from rotating along with the outer race of the bearing. So once that's off, we can remove fourth gear. And then we can remove fourth gear synchronizer ring. Okay, and then we can remove fourth gear needle bearings. There should be another circlip there, then just hold it on the hub for third and fourth gear. So once fourth is off, we can bring the rest of the assembly over to the press. And we're going to use that spacer to press off third gear and the selector hub for third and fourth. Make sure you're wearing your safety glasses and they use that safety guard. We'll just use our hand here now to stop the shaft from falling. Then we remove the selector hub assembly, the balk ring or synchronizer ring, and third gear. And when we remove the spacer, we can take off the needle roller bearings for third gear as well. And that leaves us with our fully stripped primary shaft. Now we're going to inspect third gear. Okay, so we're going to check the dog teeth on third gear for the correct shape, no damage or wear. We're going to check the conical surface that the balk ring sits on. And we're going to check the helically cut teeth for third gear. Okay, so it's basically for wear and damage, and it's a visual check. Then we're going to check the braking effect between the balk ring and the gear cone surface by pressing the two of them together and making sure that you can feel a braking effect between the two components. Finally, we check the balk ring clearance there between the gear and the balk ring, and that will be a minimum clearance, so it has to be above a certain number or above a specified number. Looking at one half of the needle rollers here, we can actually see that two of them are missing on one side there, so that'll go into the report. 1 and 2. Okay. And for the other half shell, they seem to be in good condition. Next is the selector hub assembly, and you can see there that the 3 shift plates are intact and the shift plate springs are intact. Okay, and we actually have this hub assembly marked at the top and the bottom, so you make sure you put it back in the correct orientation. Okay. So we're just going to strip it down now. You may not have to do this in an assessment, but it's good practice in case it comes apart. So first the 2 springs come out for the shift plates, and then we can just lift off the sleeve and we're left with the center hub assembly and the shift plates. Okay, So we can do an inspection on that now. It's just a kind of a visual inspection. Make sure none of the teeth are broken or that there's no wear or damage to it. Alright, them two marks are for the top, so that's top orientation. Now we're going to look at the sleeve. It's important here now to check the dogs, okay? And it's important to just kind of do a visual check for wear damage, okay? And we're going to check where the selector fork actually sits into the sleeve as well. Alright, all visual checks. And we can see that's orientated towards the top as well with the two little marks there. Now this will only go on in three ways. So the gaps have to align where the shift plates sit, have to align with the sleeve. Yes, that comes on. And next we can drop in the three shift plates once we've done a visual inspection on them. One, that's alright. Two. Finally the third one. Okay, we're going to fit our first shift plate spring. Alright, and that little turn up at the end there, that's going to grab the back of one of the shift plates. That stops the shift plates from sliding out through the gap in the circuit. Okay, and just make sure that sits home. Put it in nice and snug with the flathead screwdriver. We're going to turn over the assembly now and fit the other spring. The last measurement we're going to do on this assembly is what we call the selector fork clearance. We're going to use our vernier calipers. I'm going to zero it first. Okay, and we're going to measure the internal gap on the sleeve here. Okay, 10.07. You can write that down. And the second measurement that we're going to take is on the selector fork itself. We're going to measure the thickness of the selector fork here. 9.93, and we write that down. And the clearance is the difference between your two numbers there. That's how much space is between the fork and the selector sleeve. For reassembly of the shaft, we're going to use this special tool we made here. That slides into the shaft there as shown, okay? And it's made from aluminium. Next, the needle rollers go on. After that, we can put on our third gear. Make sure it's in the correct orientation. And then you can see that the synchronizer is on it there now as well. Okay, and then we're going to put on our selector hub assembly, okay? And the most important things here is that it's in the correct orientation, so it's facing up. Up is up, alright? And that the shift plates are aligned with the gaps in the synchronizer ring there. If they're not, when you press it down, your shift plates are going to pop up. You're going to have to disassemble the shaft again to put it right. That's the spacer that we use to press on the selector hub assembly. Okay, with the safety guard on again, we're going to slowly press on these assembly, and every so often when we're pressing, we're going to check shift plates and the gaps in the balk ring are aligned. The gear should be free to spin as you're pressing it on and after you have it pressed on. After that, we bring it back over to the vise and make sure everything is free to spin. There should be a circlip to go on now to hold on that selector hub assembly, but it doesn't seem to be on this shaft. So then the ball ring goes on. Our needle rollers go on. Fourth gear goes on in the correct orientation with the cone facing downwards. Okay. And finally, we're going to put on our bearing here. Okay, make sure you put it on the correct orientation. The circlip is towards the top, right? And if you put a small bit of oil on the shaft here, it helps to drift on the bearing. Okay. We're just going to use the soft mallet here. Okay, and that spacer, that's malleable, it's not hardened. Okay, so it's less likely to shatter. And you basically tap it down nice and easy and make sure that the gears are free to spin when you tap it down. And you hear the tone changing from the mallet as the bearing sits home. Our final job is to fit this circlip here that holds on the bearing. Well, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it.